at the heart of any strong community, you find this really simple but powerful idea. It's that real economic development doesn't start with spreadsheets. It starts with people.
Exactly. It's about building places that actually improve quality of life, that meet these, critical human needs.
And that philosophy is really the guide for the Fulton County Industrial Development Agency, or FCIDA. And we're going to use that as our lens today.
We are. We've got a great set of source materials here detailing a very specific project, one that's purpose-built. It's called Hale Creek Preserve.
Okay, so this is a 64-unit senior affordable housing community in Johnstown, New York. And for this deep dive, our mission is to use what the FCIDA has put out there to go, a level deeper than just the basic facts.
We want to understand how it all comes together, how a city, a county, and private developers can partner up to create something with real impact.
Right, we're getting into the mechanics of it, the social need, the design choices, the economic ripple effects, and especially the financing. That innovative pilot structure that really makes it all work.
It's a fascinating case study in how local government can turn an underused piece of land into something that's both, socially necessary and economically sound. So let's start at the beginning, the problem they were trying to solve.
And that problem, that need, it was acute. Not just in Johnstown, but really across the whole region. The sources are very clear that Hale Creek Preserve is a direct answer to this urgent need for accessible, dignified housing for seniors.
The urgency isn't just about demographics. It's about practicality. It's about well-being. The mayor, Amy Pratt, is quoted in the documents, and she nails the issue.
What does she say?
She points out that so many seniors are living in properties they, and this is her quote, no longer can care for or no longer want to care for.
And you can just imagine the burden that represents, right? You're trying to stay in this big family home, but you're dealing with constant maintenance, yard work, surprise repairs.
All on a fixed income. It becomes overwhelming. And so the mayor sees this project as offering real relief, a chance to move into a, quote, beautiful apartment in central downtown Johnstown, close to everything they need.
What's really interesting here, and something that's often missed, is how solving this one problem for seniors actually helps the entire housing market.
It does. The FCIDA documentation calls it the housing chain reaction.
Ooh, I like that term. Break it down for us. What's the domino effect here?
Well, think about it. When a senior moves out of a large, a 3 or 4 bedroom family home.
A house they don't need anymore.
Exactly. That home doesn't just sit empty. It goes on the market and it becomes available for a younger working family that desperately needs that space.
So by building these right-sized, affordable apartments for seniors, you're actually freeing up housing stock for other people. You're easing pressure across the whole system.
That's the system-wide adjustment. It's not just about adding 64 new units into the void. It's about strategically recycling the existing housing stock to work better for everyone.
That's a very intentional, very smart development strategy.
And that strategy needed a starting point. It needed groundwork. And the site itself was a huge part of that. It's at the end of Brindle Avenue, and it was basically just a municipal parcel being used for storage.
So an underutilized city asset.
Totally. So to get the ball rolling, the city of Johnstown officially transferred ownership of that land to the FCIDA.
Ah, so that de-risks the project for a developer, and it puts a public agency in the driver's seat, making sure the land is used for public good.
It's a textbook move. The government is clearing the path, leveraging its own assets, even a simple storage lot, to lay the foundation for a private development that serves a clear community goal.
Okay, so that brings us to the design. We've established the why, so let's get into the what. What is Hale Creek Preserve actually going to be like?
So we're talking 64 units total. They're a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments designed to be, manageable but still comfortable. They range from about 627 to 816 square feet.
But the real story here is who they're for. The affordability mandate is key.
It's absolutely critical. These units are specifically for income-eligible seniors. We're talking about people earning between 30 and 60% of the area median income, the AMI.
So that ensures the housing is precisely targeted to the group that's struggling the most with rising costs.
Right. And while that income targeting is the foundation, the quality of life really comes from the amenities. The sources make it clear this is about dignified, independent living.
Which means practical things, like elevator access and laundry rooms on every single floor. No one's hauling laundry baskets up and down stairs.
And they're building in community features, too. There's a community room, a fitness center, and maybe most important for someone on a fixed budget these days, free Wi-Fi throughout the entire building.
Those little details make a huge difference in someone's day-to-day life and their monthly budget.
Absolutely. But we have to talk about one of the most important differentiators here, the integrated support services.
Okay, let's zoom in on that, because that's not standard in every affordable housing project. Why is that inclusion so critical here?
It's what allows people to truly age in place. It transforms the building from just an affordable apartment to a place where residents can stay even as their needs change. 14 of the 64 units will have dedicated on-site assistance.
And where does the funding for that come from?
It's funded through the New York State Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative, or ESSI.
You good?
That ESI funding ensures that residents who need a little extra help, maybe with managing medications or getting to appointments or other daily tasks, they get that support right there, without having to move or rely entirely on family.
I see. So the state is subsidizing the actual care, the wraparound services, not just the building itself. That's a huge commitment to keeping people independent and connected.
It really reinforces the social mission of the project. And that commitment to connection, it extends physically beyond the building's walls. The site plan includes some major public improvements.
Right. The documents mention new walking trails along Hale Creek.
And those aren't just for decoration. Those trails are like arteries. They connect the residents directly to vital neighborhood resources, like the Johnstown Area Community Center and the Senior Citizens Center.
So it's not an isolated island of senior housing. It's designed to be woven right into the fabric of the community.
Exactly. And here's the best part. From a civic standpoint, all of those improvements, the trails, the new connections, they're going to be donated back to the city of Johnstown for everyone to use. The whole neighborhood benefits.
Wow. So they took an underused lot, and the partnership is creating a vital housing asset and a new piece of public infrastructure all at the same time.
It's just smart, holistic community planning.
Okay, that dual benefit makes it clear why this project is getting so much attention.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the engine that actually powers all this, the economic momentum.
And that starts with the partnership team. You've got the FCIDA, the City of Johnstown, and the developers, who are Five Corners Development, and the NRP Group.
And the city of Johnstown really stepped up here, right? The source material gives them a lot of credit.
It does. They're specifically cited for having a streamlined local process and a cooperative city administration. They even have a pro-housing designation from New York State.
What does that actually mean in practical terms?
It means the local government is actively working to get projects like this built. They're removing the red tape, the bureaucratic friction that can stall or even kill a good project before a shovel ever hits the ground.
That administrative efficiency is like the secret ingredient.
Yeah.
But let's quantify the raw economic output. What are we looking at for jobs?
The impact is pretty immediate and pretty big. During the construction phase alone, the project is expected to create more than 200 construction jobs.
200 jobs. That's a major short-term injection of cash and activity into the local economy.
For sure. And then you have the long-term sustained impact. Once the building is up and running, the employment stabilizes.
Right.
So the operational phase will employ 5 full-time staff and up to 15 part-timers for things like management, maintenance, and those support services we mentioned.
And what does that translate to in terms of wages?
That's the key number. When you add it all up, the facility is projected to contribute over $1.1 million in new wages annually to the regional economy.
Over $1 million in stable local wages every single year. And that's money that gets spent right there at local businesses. And the docs also say the team is committed to sourcing local labor and materials whenever they can.
It's designed as an economic multiplier. The construction money cycles through the local economy once, but the operational wages become a reliable, sustained annual income for the whole region. It's an economic strategy built around solving a social need.
This all sounds incredible, but we can't ignore the financial structure that holds it all up, because all of this relies on long-term viability, which brings us to the really complex part, the pilot.
This is where we shift from social planning to some pretty sophisticated financial engineering.
Okay, so if this is such a great community asset, why can't they just pay regular property taxes? Why does an affordable housing project like this need a unique financial setup?
That is the crucial question. And the answer really is margin. Affordable housing projects, by definition, have to keep rents low. They're designed for social benefit, not maximum profit.
So they operate with really thin margins.
Razor thin. And if you're relying on traditional property taxes, which can fluctuate wildly over 30 years based on reassessments, any big unexpected tax hike could completely destabilize the project. It could make it impossible to keep the rents affordable. Predictability is everything.
I see. So the risk from the traditional tax system is just too high. So a payment in lieu of taxes agreement is brought in to provide that stability.
Correct. The pilot basically sets the tax payment in stone. It's an alternative to a normal assessment, and it protects the project from future shocks while also guaranteeing a predictable revenue stream for the city and county.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics for Hale Creek Preserve. What does this pilot deal actually look like?
The structure is a fixed formula. It's set at $250 per unit per year.
Now, $250 a unit might sound pretty low compared to the full tax rate on a brand new building. How do they justify that?
That's where the next part of the formula comes in. The agreement includes a really important feature, a 2% annual escalation. So that revenue isn't flat. It grows predictably every single year.
And the whole agreement is for 30 years. So the city and the county get a stable, guaranteed, and slightly increasing revenue stream for 3 decades, no matter what happens in the local real estate market.
Exactly. But here's the real aha moment. This pilot isn't just a local tax deal. It's the key that unlocks the whole engine of affordable housing funding on a national level.
You're talking about how it helps them get other funding, specifically the developer's application to the New York State Homes and Community Renewal, or HCR.
That's it. They're applying for the very competitive 9% low-income housing tax credits, the LIHTCs.
Okay, so LAHTCs. Break
Yeah.
that down. Those are the main way these big projects get funded, right?
They are the dominant tool, yes. They're federal tax credits, but the state, HCR, hands them out, and they aren't grants. Developers sell these credits to big investors, like banks, who use them to lower their own corporate tax bills for 10 years.
So an investor's basically buying future tax breaks. But I don't get it. Why does a 30-year pilot matter to an investor who only cares about the first 10 years of tax credits?
Because that investor needs certainty. The value of their investment, the tax credit, depends entirely on the project staying financially healthy and affordable for its entire 30-year life. If the project defaulted in year 15 because of a huge property tax hike.
Their tax credits could be at risk. The whole investment could go south.
Precisely. The pilot de-risks the long-term financial health of the building. It guarantees predictable operating costs. That guarantee is what tells an investor, this project is stable, it will be compliant, it will be here in 30 years.
So without the predictable pilot, the big institutional investors won't buy the tax credits. And without that investment money, the project just doesn't happen.
It doesn't get built. So the pilot isn't just a tax break, it's the financial key that turns future federal tax incentives into the cash you need to pour concrete today.
That really connects all the dots. We've seen this project transform a storage lot, leverage city land, get state support for services, and then use a local pilot deal to unlock millions in federal-level investment.
And in the process, it addresses a social need, adds to the housing supply, and creates stable local jobs. Hale Creek Preserve really is a powerful regional model for how to do development that has a real, lasting impact.
It's a textbook case of patient, targeted investment. But that brings us back to that financial balance for you, the listener, thinking like a community planner. We've talked about 2 different ways to measure the value this project creates.
On one side, you've got that immediate, aggressive economic momentum. Over $1.1 million in new wages every year, plus those 200 construction jobs. That is instant, tangible growth.
And on the other side, you have the long-term financial commitment. That 30-year pilot structure, which guarantees a stable, fixed revenue stream for the city and county, growing at a reliable 2% a year.
So the provocative thought we want to leave you with is this. When you're evaluating a long-term community asset, which of those holds more true value? Is it the big, immediate economic splash from wages and construction?
Or is it the 30 years of guaranteed, predictable financial stability from the pilot revenue? How should a community weigh that immediate boost against that long-term health?
It forces you to rethink what true community value really is. Is it a bigger but maybe more volatile tax payment? Or a guaranteed escalating stream of revenue that's tied directly to essential social infrastructure?
Something to think about. We encourage you to keep exploring the dynamics of local development and how affordable housing policy is truly shaping our communities. Thanks for diving deep with us.